I've mined over 3,000 obsidian in this world so far, and I'm done with that. We're building an obsidian farm, or... Today we actually have 5 projects that all revolve around things that have to do with the end. In Minecraft. Number 1, we're obviously going to build this obsidian farm. I am so sick of hand mining obsidian. Number 2, we're going to use a lot of that obsidian from the new farm to build a ghast farm. But why a ghast farm? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's better than our raid farm for gunpowder, and it's going to give us a ton of ghast tears for end crystals and regen potions. Number 3, we're going to kill 19 more ender dragons. After we have the ghast tears, I'm going to make 76 more end crystals to fight 19 resummoned ender dragons. That'll open up all the gateways on the island. Why? Well, because number 4, I want to build a void trader. I'll explain it more when we get there, but let's just say I need a gateway, and I'd prefer if it was a nice bit of land on both the island and the outer gateway side to make it easier and a bit safer. And finally, number 5, I just want to renovate my stronghold. Since we go to the end and through the end portal a fair bit, I think it'd be nice if it looked way cooler than this. I'm not going to design this in my spawn build style with the all Asian theme. I'm going to make it more of a universal build so that no matter what themed area I'm coming from in the future, it hopefully still looks nice and not completely out of place. The main reason I haven't built an obsidian farm now that I'm over 1,200 days into the world is because this gravity block duper needs collection on the end side, and that collection interferes with the obsidian farm that I want to build. Before I can build the obsidian farm then, I want to run this duper at least a bit more so I have some of each type of block, and I don't need to activate this for a while longer. I've been AFK for a bit now, and these chests are pretty full. It doesn't really take long to fill up at 72,000 blocks per hour. A shulker holds just 1,700-ish blocks. This farm fills over 20 double chests per hour. In order to tear down this storage, I collected and organized all the blocks and moved them up to this land that overlooks where the storage used to be. I've torn down plenty of stuff in this world, like the 2 villages last episode, the creeper farm early on, or the old iron farm, but tearing this down just felt great. I know the obsidian farm I'm going to put here is a necessity, and I'm really looking forward to running it. I also want to eventually put storage back here for the gravity block duper, and when I do, I'm going to go all out and make it really nice this time. While I was here, I also started spawn-proofing the main island. I want the top entire surface to be free from endermen when I fight the 19 dragons, and while I ran out of frog lights for now, I'll come back and finish this project later today. This was good progress though. Let's go build a farm. Well, the farm is working. The wither's been summoned into a trap and will constantly break the 9 obsidian under itself. The snow golem and silverfish on the overworld side will keep the wither attacking because the snowballs are going through the portal and hitting him. The platform regenerates and then he breaks it again. The whole time, skulls fly over my head and I trust Ian X04 with my entire hardcore world because let's be honest, I can't move. If the wither sees me anywhere except this spot, he'll drop down, attack me, break everything, ruin the farm, and I'll have to kill a rogue wither in the end. That sounds like the plot of a horror movie. I'm running this farm on a 1-hour timer. When that's up, I simply summon an iron golem off to the side and he kills the wither for me. The wither's focused on me because I shot it with an arrow, and the golem is free to attack at will. I'm holding an enchanted apple and wearing my chest plate because as I said, I can't move. If I get hit with a skull, I can't move. I have to trust Ian, but I've also tested this farm, and later in the video I'll come back here and get hit with a skull. So chest plate, notch apple, that's how we do it. Didn't need it this time though. I have a lot of obsidian now. The farm makes roughly 32,000 obsidian per hour, or 10 times what I had mined in the entire world so far. And before this video ends, I'll run the farm 3 times for nearly 100,000 obsidian. Before I put the gravity duper back, I'll make sure I run this for another 5 hours as well. There we go, finally I have obsidian in the world. Now let's go use 2,000 obsidian for our next project. I'm building a ghast farm, and I know some of you are out there thinking, just go to the nether and fight ghasts, so I wanted to show you that yes, I did and I do. This is slightly older and out of order footage, so I apologize for any misaligned rocket and food counts, but it's a flashback to me trying it your way. Let's slightly desaturate the out of order footage so you can tell. The problem with using the nether for ghast tears is it can be hard to find ghasts sometimes, no matter where you go, even soul sand valleys. And then if you want to use your bow and looting, it requires taking off your totem. And then you have to be careful you don't drop the tears in lava that's all around you. So yes, I do fight ghasts in the nether, but not that often, it's not really worth it. Yeah, no, we're not doing this. Let's go build a farm. The farm is done, so let's test it out. I'm going to land just a little bit lower on the ladder in case they see me and break out. I don't really know what the rules are for this one. The ghasts are spawning on the magma platforms below and instantly teleporting to the overworld. After a short cooldown, they're pushed back to the nether where they pop out at the kill chamber portal, and from here I can use looting 3 to stab and collect gunpowder and tears. This farm produces over 7,000 tears and 9,000 gunpowder per hour. While I'll never use 7,000 tears, the gunpowder is very handy, and having a couple hundred tears is never a bad problem to have. I'll come back soon and hit this for a few more shulkers of gunpowder, but for today, I took a full shulker of gunpowder and most of a shulker of tears home with me, and that'll do the end crystals and the potion brewing that I want to do. And speaking of potions, I then jumped into the nether and back to our blaze spawner from all the way back in episode 1. I've never done much with this spawner except get the powder for a few of the brewers. Today I thought we'd at least clean it up. This room is atrocious to work in, unsafe, and basically a nightmare to use. While I'm not ready to make this a full-on farm yet, having a nicer area to get blaze powder can't be all bad, right? I tried not to use fire res pots here, but then I decided I'd just go for it and spend a proper amount of time here. This will just about do it. We have a safe, smooth room to spawn tons of blaze in, as well as many stacks of rods to go home with. After the room was finished, I went home and started filling the potion brewers. These auto brewers are nearly done now and have so many resources preloaded into them. I've also made 96 end crystals instead of 76. Ah, math. Or as some of you know it, counting with rad. With the exception of rabbit's feet, the auto brewer is actually doing really well now. There's pufferfish from the Guardian farm, phantoms from Never Sleeping, ghasts from our new farm. Those were some of the last ones that I had to fill. I also have 16 turtle helmets in the system. This may not seem like a lot, but keep in mind that each helmet is 5 scoots, so that's 80 scoots total, and there's 33 existing potions below in the barrel and hopper, and that cost another 55 scoots to make. Let's check in on the iron farm. Okay. I have over 23 shulkers of ingots now, plus the shulker of blocks that I've already converted. The new iron farm is so good. The next task on the list is to respawn and kill 19 ender dragons, so I'm going to tear down my beacon, dismantle my wither rose farm, and spawn proof the rest of the end island before I do though. My plan for this is very simple. I have 5 perfect bows made from my villager trades. I made a whole shulker of bows on a Twitch stream and had those as leftovers. And I guess now's a good time to announce that I'll be doing some YouTube streams on the hardcore world soon, so look out for those. I can spam the dragon with arrows all day, no big deal. Each time you defeat the ender dragon, a new gateway opens up, and so far 1 gateway is open. We did that one all the way back in episode 1 when I got my elytra and did a little end raiding. Now I want to open the rest of them. Resummoning the dragon would break the wither rose farm, so I preserved the materials for that and relocated them off to the side. And 40 frog lights later, the end island is also spawn proof on the surface now. Endermen can spawn around the edge, and after the crystals are destroyed they can respawn at the top of towers, but none can spawn directly on the island. That makes it way less likely that I'll look at one during these 19 fights. Let's get started. This was never in doubt, right? It's 19 up, 19 down, all the gateways are open, and it's mission accomplished. Let's go build a void trader. This portal opened up on the best piece of solid land that I could find. I only had to build out a little bit and do very minor terraforming to make it completely safe. I like that. If you don't know what a void trader is about, it could be pretty confusing, so let me explain. I'm building a void trader, and that will be used to infinitely trade with villagers, especially librarians, clerics, and stonemasons. So let me explain how it works, then I'll explain why I put the villagers in the way that I do. A void trader essentially pushes your player from the end island to the outer end, and then back to the end island. This loop teleports you over 1,000 blocks instantly. However, you can do the teleportation with the villagers trading GUI open. Usually you can only trade with a villager a couple of times a day until their trades lock, and then you have to wait. If you paid attention to me doing these trades back at home, you know that I have 7 clerics in order to trade just 14 times a day to collect as much redstone as I can. If I need more than 7 trades worth, I just have to wait or run the raid farm. The raid farm is fast, but it's around 5,000 redstone per hour, so it's not as fast as I would like. So enter the void trader. When I bring a cleric to the outer end and trade with him, he'll lock me out the same as a normal villager. But if I open his trade interface on the outer island, then I go through the gateway and complete the trade while I'm on the main end island. When I head back to the outer island, the villager doesn't know that I traded with him because I was 1,000 blocks away and he was unloaded. So he lets me trade again. And again, and again, and again. Now let's apply that to the villagers I've chosen. I've got 1 cleric, 1 librarian, and 9 stonemasons. Why a librarian? Well, I can infinitely trade for glass, ender pearls, bookshelves. That's pretty awesome. Why 9 stonemasons? Well, one of the things I don't enjoy collecting is terracotta and glazed terracotta, and some of the stone variants are also a pain to craft. Masons can also sell dripstone blocks. Those are all awesome trades, so I want a large variety of them. And the cleric is redstone. All redstone. Bottles of enchanting and other things, but redstone. In infinite... I did mention redstone, right? The trading hall is now built, and it's a rather complicated machine by Strom. It'll be linked in the description, but essentially it has everything I need. There's a villager breeder built in, a zombification chamber, or what he calls zombie negotiations, and then it will return carts to the gateway and back to their home. Moving a zombie and 2 villagers in isn't much fun. It's not meant to be that difficult though. I simply went to my outpost, built a small staircase up to the portal, and from there it was as easy as finding a zombie and walking him on in. If nothing else, getting a zombie to simply follow you a long distance is not that difficult. And on the way there, I name tagged him Dingus. My end stronghold portal is on the roof, so after a few minutes of luring him across and in here, I was able to just bop him into the end portal, go through myself, and walk him near a gateway. Once he was in the boat, I realized not setting up the rails beforehand was a mistake. Trying to get him into the cart through the gateway after bopping him while fighting to get him in and causing damage. It was a mess. I tried so hard and got so far, it didn't even matter. Meet Dingus 3. Do not ask about Dingus 2. This is Dingus 3 and he's being a pain in the butt. He's standing on a trapdoor instead of falling into the hole he's meant to be in. Here, let me show you. Get off the trapdoor, Dingus number 3. Maybe his name was a mistake. I need to block him in now. Why does it always come down to hitting them where I need them to go? If I kill this one... Ugh, got him. Fine, Dingus 2 is in the void. It was my fault.
I'm not explaining further.
After Dingus 3 was in, I moved villagers. With the rail now set up correctly, that was actually pretty easy. Here they are, and I'm feeding them, and they can breed me some Villy babies. Babies are a bit slow to grow up, and I need 11 bred at 2 per day. That's 6 in-game days, and if you don't know, it's about 2 full hours of doing basically nothing in the end. So let's skip forward those 2 hours, because this was boring. After I had some of those villagers, it was time to go home and make some splash weakness potions. I set up my last auto brewer to do this, and quickly had over 30. After I grabbed some golden apples, I went back and sent some of the boys to zombie negotiations. The cleric isn't really a great option. The stuff that I want from him costs 1 emerald, redstone, lapis, I guess glowstone is 4, and bottles of enchanting are 3, so we'll send him over there, away you go. After he gets zombified, I can send him back, and once he's home and in place, cure him from there. It's a splash pot of weakness, plus a golden apple, and then we wait. Through the magic of television, that 5-minute wait is now over, and there we go. And now everything I want from him costs 1 emerald. Okay, Mr. Librarian, it's now your turn. I won't really have to convert the masons. Nearly everything is already 1 emerald, and there's almost no point. They aren't going to suddenly give me 20 bricks per emerald, unfortunately. Welcome back, Mr. Librarian, sir. Here, have this, and I brought you an apple. I would like to give to you... How do I do this? That string is actually in the way. While I wait for the librarian to convert back, it's worth trading with the masons now. I need to get them all up to master level, so no matter which one I'm using, I can get the quartz trade at the very end of their list. I also wanted to set up which terracotta trades they had and decide if they needed to be replaced. You'll see the trades I start to get, including dripstone, polished diorite, andesite, and granite, blue terracotta, as well as pink, black glazed, green, red, orange, and cyan. While I have a couple of overlaps, I'll keep them for now, and if I really need to change them, the breeder's still running. There's my librarian. Bookshelves now cost 3, name tags 14, and the sharpness 5 book is down to 30. You know what? I'm kinda greedy, and Dingus 3 is kinda hungry. Let's run it back. After another quick round of negotiations, bookshelves are now 1, Sharpness is 5, and name tags are 7. Let's buy a bunch of name tags for now. I think this guy's had enough. He's done. As promised, I ran the obsidian farm a bit more before I had to remove the overworld side. I've stood in front of a wither here now a few times, but I never have any less fun. Yeah, nothing about wither skulls going 1 inch over my head is at all unsafe. Remember how I said the wither can hit you? Well, this is what I mean. For no reason, I'm going to take a wither skull to the dome here. I'm not going to crouch, I don't move, but he's going to smack me. If he only hits me once, I can just eat a pork chop, and I will do that, but I don't know why this happens sometimes. It's not meant to. An obsidian farm, ghast farm, 19 dragons, and a void trader is already a heck of an episode, but I'm not done today. All of our projects have in some way been about the end, and I have one more in mind, but these guys have to go. I'm in this stronghold way too often to see a plain vanilla room any longer. My plan is to empty out a pretty big area here, renovate this room to be something more interesting to look at. I'm going to remove the end portal frame as well, so I only have the portal here itself, and I'll use this as a central piece on the floor. As far as style, you may be surprised, but I'm not doing it in the Fantasy Asian build style that I've been using. This is my main stronghold portal for the whole world, so I want to make sure it doesn't just fit one of my build areas. You're probably also not that surprised since you saw the thumbnail. But I'm going to make this a bit more, let's say, custom. I want it to be a little dark and moody, and I don't get to play with that style too much in this world yet. Unfortunately, I also discovered a huge water cave above this stronghold portal as I started to dig out the room for my build. This is not a small cave. All of the water needs to go. Up here, over there, over here. It all has to get dried out. I have a fairly large ocean around the industrial island, so starting from there I was able to find a few monuments and sponge rooms, and in that came back with just over 3 stacks of sponge and even a few new tide trims. And then back at the dig site, it's going well. Unfortunately, I'm digging down to deep slate. That's not fun. Have I mentioned I hate digging deep slate? Even with a beacon, it's just a pain. If you're wondering how I'm repairing constantly without being at the Guardian farm, it's those bottles of enchanting that I mentioned earlier. I bought 5 or 6 stacks from the Void Trader, and that's a couple pickaxes full and elytra repairs as well. This is looking exactly how I wanted it to look. It's dark, it's moody, but it's completely spawn-proof. The soul campfires, the dragon eggs, and especially the gradient lights inside the armor stand cases just looks incredible to me. I love how this is turning out. On the nether roof side, I'm going to be a little silly with this and make each side connect to the correct portal. It's by no means necessary, but it's fun and I liked it. I think it's a very clear reminder of which portal this is when I'm flying around the nether roof to see the 4 sides and know that they connect to the 4 colors in the stronghold room. A few tests to confirm that it works, and that's all working perfectly. So now I just want to finish the decor. I already put a dragon egg in each portal frame, and I'm going to add an end crystal, some wither skulls, and some soul lanterns. That's looking pretty sick, actually. I think the stronghold reno and all the other end projects today have been a lot of fun. These 8 armor stands will get filled with armor and name tags later, and I know exactly who's going here. Each armor will be color matched in silence trim, so lapis for blue, emerald, redstone, and gold for the rest. What do you think of this one? As always, if you enjoyed the episode, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so YouTube does its algorithmic things. And that's 3 epic building episodes in a row. If you're missing my over-the-top farms, don't worry. Next episode is more over the top than I've ever gone. I'll see you then. Goodbye.